What's up, guys? Welcome to another epic episode of J Philly Retro Toys. Guys, thank you so much for clicking onto this video today. Thank you for coming along with me on another freaking adventure today. I didn't say toy hunting because, guys, this video is not about toy hunting. We're not going to do any toy hunting in this video today. It's going to be kind of a low-key video. It's been a while since we've done an at-home video. I've been going for months and months thrifting and toy hunting and all that stuff. So I figured, why not stay home this week? Do something low-key, and at the end of this video, we're going to talk about the 500 subscriber giveaway. So guys, this video is going to be all about my top 5 80s and 90s cartoons in my VHS and DVD collection. Let's take a look. Alright, so again, what we're going to do today is basically look at the top 5, my top 5 favorites in my collection that I currently own. DVD and VHS. I decided I was going to do just DVD, but I decided to throw some VHS in there also, because I got some pretty cool VHS. Even if nothing else, just for like honorable mentions. So we're going to look at the top 5 plus honorable mentions in my collection. So guys, I realize this type of video is not for everybody. If you want to just pass on this video, I give you permission to do that if you want to. But be sure, like I said, you may want to stick around because at the end of this video, we are going to talk about the 500 subscriber giveaway coming up. It's going to be effective as of today, as of this video. So you're going to want to hear the rules and see the prizes. Also, I'm going to reveal the prizes to you. So anyway, guys, let's get into this. What I'm going to do first is just show you some honorable mentions. I do love 80s and 90s cartoons. That's what, I mean, I can still remember waking up in the 80s, you know, Saturday mornings, or coming home from school Monday through Friday. You know, they used to have cartoons on TV in the afternoons for kids when they got home from school. So we would come home from school, we would watch some, you know, He-Man and all kinds of stuff. And of course, Saturday mornings were epic in the 80s. You guys know that. You know, you sit there with your bowl of cereal and your brother and sister sitting beside you, and you just watch cartoons all morning long. So this is going to be my top 5 favorite cartoons from my collection. This is not, you know, not of all time. Basically just the cartoons that I own on VHS and DVD. So we're going to start off with some honorable mentions. Again, this is from the 80s and 90s. These are not going to be like current cartoons or anything other than 80s and 90s. I do have a couple examples that I'll show you of what this is not going to be. So guys, I do have cartoons in my collection like this right here, the complete series of Thundercats. This was from like I'm sure there's probably a date on here. This was like from the 2012, 2010, 2012 era of Thundercats. If you remember, I think they put this on Boomerang or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. I should have done some research before I did this video. But this cartoon is actually really good. But this is not 80s or 90s, so this is not included. Good cartoon, though. Other examples, probably my favorite animated, I wouldn't say necessarily this is a cartoon, but animated series of all time, The Clone Wars. Freaking epic. But this is not included in what I'm talking about today. It's not 80s or 90s. And then, of course, the epic 2000X He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series. These are awesome cartoons. For anybody who loves Masters of the Universe, if you have not seen this series yet, definitely check this out. But these also are not what we're talking about today. We're talking about 80s and 90s. So guys, one more honorable mention that I wanted to mention is this. Popeye. If you guys know, Popeye's been around since like the 60s, I think. I remember watching Popeye from the time I was like a toddler. Is kind of about when the Popeye movie came out with Robin Williams. And I remember I've loved Popeye ever since. But Popeye is not specifically an 80s or 90s cartoon. Popeye's been around since like the 50s or 60s. So we definitely have to mention Popeye as an honorable mention, but he's not necessarily an 80s or 90s cartoon. Let me show you some honorable mentions that are 80s and 90s cartoons. So the first honorable mention that I want to talk about is Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. Guys, I friggin' love Chippendale. They are probably my favorite. I'm not a huge Disney fan. Even Disney cartoons, I'm not a huge Disney fan. But Chippendale's Rescue Rangers are probably my favorite. There'll be another honorable mention here that's Disney. So these two are probably my favorite Disney cartoons ever, or Disney characters ever. Um, Definitely Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. I used to love watching this as a kid. This is the only Chippendale VHS tape that I have currently in my collection, but I would love to find more someday. Just an awesome cartoon. And if you can notice, I learned this years later. Chip is dressed like Indiana Jones, and Dale, is it the other way around? Is he Dale and he's Chip? I don't remember. He's dressed like Magnum PI. He's got the Hawaiian shirt on, and of course he's got the leather jacket and the fedora. And I didn't realize that when I was a kid, but now I do, which makes it that much cooler. So definitely honorable mention, Disney's Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Guys, then we have Alvin and the Chipmunks from the 1980s. I used to love Alvin and the Chipmunks cartoons. I even had little action, like the little figures of them. This is the only Alvin and the Chipmunks VHS cartoon that I have in my entire collection. Again, I would love to find more of these, but I have the Chipmunk Christmas. But Alvin and the Chipmunks used to be a regular, like, Saturday morning cartoon. Every week there would be a new episode. So definitely honorable mention, Alvin and the Chipmunks as well. Guys, I mentioned that there were two Disney mentions in this list of honorable mentions. How many times can I say mention? DuckTales, Treasure of the Lost Lamp. Now, this is the DuckTales cartoon, the movie. I'm sorry, this is the DuckTales movie. But again, just like with Alvin and the Chipmunks, they had I think it was daily. I think this was one of the ones that was on Monday through Friday for me, where I lived. Disney's DuckTales was one of my absolute favorite cartoons growing up. I actually used to take blank VHS tapes and record DuckTales every day after school just so I could watch them over and over again. That's how cool I thought these were, and I still think they're cool. Again, this is the only DuckTales I currently have in my VHS and DVD collection. I would love to have, like, the entire series on DVD or VHS, but actually I don't know if they make it on VHS, but definitely would love to have the whole series of DuckTales. One of my favorites for sure. Uncle Scrooge is just the frickin' best. And then, guys, my final honorable mention has got to be Black Star. This was like the precursor to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe back in the day. Filmation, the same studio that made Masters of the Universe, had Black Star first before that. And it's kind of crazy because he's a muscular superhero with a sword. So, seems kind of familiar. I don't remember watching Black Star back in the 80s when I was a kid. I probably did, but I don't remember it that much. I didn't really learn about it or appreciate it until I got older. And it's definitely become one of my favorite 80s cartoons. So I definitely had to include Black Star as an honorable mention. So, guys, those are our honorable mentions. Those are the ones that didn't even make it into the top 5. So, these top 5 have got to be freaking awesome, right? Again, these are just videos, VHS and DVDs that I have in my own collection. There are hundreds, honestly, of 80s and 90s cartoons that I love. I mean, Muppet Babies, Mask, I can't even think of the many, many more. Silverhawks. Like, all these cartoons come to mind. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I didn't even put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I don't own a DVD or a VHS of TMNT. the cartoon, the vintage cartoon. But I'm going to show you now my top 5 in my collection 80s and 90s cartoons that I have. We'll start with number 5. So, guys, before we move forward, I just want to say some of these names, the cartoons in the top 5 may surprise you. Maybe not, but they might be surprising to you. One such cartoon might be this one. My number 5 has got to be the Smurfs. Guys, the Smurfs are just so freaking iconic 80s. Like, there's nothing that screams 80s cartoons more than the Smurfs to me. I used to love the Smurfs. There are so many Smurfs merchandise, little Smurfs PVC figures, but the cartoon is what started it all off. I can remember still me and my sister sitting on the floor in front of the TV in the 1980s and watching the Smurfs every Saturday morning. There are so many Smurfs cartoons out there, so many episodes. This is actually the only Smurfs DVD that I currently own. Now, as far as like the modern Smurfs that they tried to redo, the CGI Smurfs from 10 years ago or whatever, that sucks. I don't care for that at all. But I mean, look at it. You got Smurfette, you got Gargamel up here. You can't not love the Smurfs. So the Smurfs are definitely my number 5 all-time favorite 80s and 90s cartoon from my collection. Guys, number 4 on my list of top 5 80s and 90s cartoons in my collection have got to be the Thundercats. Now, I have Season 1, Volume 1, and Season 1, Volume 2. I also have Season 2. Wow, my voice just cracked big time there. Season 2, Volumes 1 and 2. I just didn't pull them out here to show you guys. But the Thundercats are definitely freaking one of my favorite cartoons from the 80s as well. I love them. I love just the story, the characters. Who doesn't love Snarf and Mum-Ra, even as scary as he was back in the 80s. Like, I remember being scared of Mum-Ra as a kid watching these. I didn't have a lot of the action figures from Thundercats. I had maybe a couple at one point, but I didn't really have many of the action figures, but I definitely loved the cartoon, and I still do. It's one of my favorite 80s cartoons, definitely of all time. Thundercats ho! Alright, this might be a surprise for you guys, that this is number 3 on my list. For any of you guys that know me very well, you know that I love G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was a huge part of my childhood. I loved the vintage G.I. Joe figures, G.I. Joe comic books, G.I. Joe cartoon, obviously. I do have some of the first season discs in my collection, but they do not have the cases. So I just decided to show off this specific DVD to represent G.I. Joe in this video. Guys, I love A Real American Hero, G.I. Joe, that ran from the early to late 80s. There's just nothing like it. So many good memories from this. Storm Shadow is probably one of, if not my all-time favorite G.I. Joe character. The Dreadnoks, freaking awesome. Gung Ho. Shipwreck is another one. I don't have it. He's not on here, but definitely Snake Eyes, Roadblock, Flint. All these guys, Duke, they're all amazing. So again, some of you guys might be surprised that this is my number 3. But it's only because number 2 eked it out just barely as far as nostalgia. So guys, in case you're wondering what that number 2 series is, it's right here. Freaking Scooby-Doo. Now again, this is kind of similar to the Popeye series, in which it wasn't necessarily made in the 1980s. However, it was still on TV in the 1980s, and that's when I watched it. So that's when I loved it, and when I knew about it, and where I fell in love with it. Guys, Scooby-Doo is one of my all-time favorite 80s cartoons ever. Honestly, I think there's one other one, which is probably going to be number 1 on this list. Hint, hint. uh, of my favorite 80s cartoons. I mean, I remember, and I'm not talking, there have been dozens and dozens and dozens of revamps of Scooby-Doo. As far as the series go, and of course the movies, I do not like the modern movies in the series of Scooby-Doo. The pictures on here, you know exactly what these are. This is vintage 1970s Scooby-Doo. It might be 60s even. I don't remember if this came out in the 60s or the 70s. But again, the 80s is when I watched it. The 80s is when I loved it, and I still love it to this day. I could sit down right now and watch every one of these DVDs. I love Scooby-Doo that much. And, this is the original variation, the original version of Scooby-Doo in these discs. So, yeah, I had to put Scooby-Doo as number 2. It's just that important to me and that significant to my childhood memories. Scooby-Doo, my number 2 favorite cartoons in my VHS and DVD collection. Guys, I'm sure the anticipation of my number 1 is just killing you. It's just eating you up inside. Yeah, right. Anyway, let's get to it. My number 1, if you know anything about me, you probably have already guessed my number 1 favorite 80s and 90s cartoon in my collection. And it's got to be He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Let's take a look at this. So, of course, it's He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. What else would it possibly be? Guys, I do have the first and second seasons on VHS. I need to get the other ones, but this is the original 1980s version of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. These characters are so iconic. Look at that He-Man with the sword, Beastman, Evelyn, and of course you got Skeletor up here. There's no better villain in all of 80s cartoon history than Skeletor, in my opinion. Just freaking awesome. I love the kind of holographic cover that's on this. There are different versions or different releases of the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoons out there, but this is like one of my favorite ones because of this holographic slipcover. Again, it is just a slipcover. You can peel it off, and there's just like a plain case underneath. But that's not the reason I love it. I love it because of the cartoon. Again, this was one of the ones that came on every day when I came home from school. And this was, I remember I used to not be allowed to watch He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. When I was a kid, my mom told us that we weren't allowed to watch this for a while because how He-Man says, "I have the power." We were told, no, only Jesus has the power. I mean, it's a cartoon. Come on, Mom. But, we kind of, after a while, we kind of talked her into letting us watch it again. And I don't know what I can say. Everybody knows He-Man. Everybody knows this cartoon. You know how awesome it is. If you don't, definitely buy this and check it out. But definitely my number 1 favorite in my collection, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So guys, I'm sure that was no surprise to anybody. Like I said, anybody that knows me probably could guess that this was my number 1 cartoon from the 1980s. Of course, I may not have had this in my collection, so it could have been something totally different. But of course I have He-Man in my collection. What the heck? Anyway, number 1 in my collection of 80s and 90s cartoons of all time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little, that little look, kind of a sneak peek into my cartoon collection, as well as a little bit about me, the cartoons that I liked, the cartoons I loved growing up. That's why I do these things, just for fun. I love reliving the nostalgia of 80s and 90s cartoons. I don't know. It's just something about it. It's awesome. Guys, we're going to come right back with some information about the 500 subscriber giveaway. Let me clear this stuff out here. and I'll be right back to talk to you about that. Stay tuned. It's going to be like 2 seconds for you guys. So guys, it's time. It's time to reveal the 500 subscriber giveaway. Now this giveaway is going to be for one of you subscribers. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you guys. I want you to know that first, because I still can't believe that over 500 of you now have subscribed to my channel and watch me regularly, and that just blows my mind. I can't believe that there are that many people that want to watch me do anything, much less go shopping at thrift stores and yard sales and do crazy videos like the one I just did today. And I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much. And I know some of you guys that have been here from the beginning are still here. You still watch every week. You still comment on videos. Guys, I have met a couple of you in real life. You've come up to me at toy shows and things like that and said hi, which is insane to me because I can't believe that I'm actually meeting viewers, subscribers. I see these big guys, like these big channels, Froggy Flips and Retro Rick and guys like that who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and people recognize them all the time in their videos. But I can't believe that people actually recognize me. I never thought that would happen, but I'm thankful for every one of you guys that come up to me at shows and things like that and say hi. I've met a couple of you in real life, like my buddy Anthony. I actually met him through this channel, through my videos, through my channel. And we're actually really good friends now. So I've made good friends through this. And yeah, I mean, I appreciate every single one of you guys. I really do. Please stick with me. We're on a road to 1,000 now. How awesome will that be? But I wanted to give back to you. I want to do a 500 subscriber giveaway. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to give you a bundle of prizes. I picked out 3 prizes that I have. You're not going to win one of them. You're going to win all 3 of them. And so what I'm going to do is show you the prizes real quick, and then I'm going to tell you how to enter. All right? So the first thing that you will get, so we're going to start small. The first thing you'll get is this vintage 1987 wax pack of ALF cards. This thing is still sealed. Still got the gum inside. You can feel it right there. So you're going to get a vintage 1987 wax pack of ALF cards. How awesome is that? You're also going to get a sealed, brand new Rugrats, the Trilogy Movie Collection DVD. You guys, you just saw how much I love DVD and VHS cartoons. You're going to get your own VHS and DVD cartoon. Was this from the 90s? I don't remember if Rugrats is from the 90s or from the 2000s. I didn't really watch it because I was kind of out of cartoons at the time this came around, but I know a lot, I think it's 90s. I know a lot of you 90s kids love Rugrats. So this is all 3 movies in one, and it's sealed brand new. So you're going to get ALF cards, you're going to get a Rugrats sealed DVD, and then, this is pretty friggin' epic, you're going to get 1995 X-Men Toy Biz Apocalypse figure. Brand new, sealed, mint on card. Look at that. Look at that card, guys. That card is pretty freaking minty. The bubble is clear. No lifting. There is a sticker on the side there that you can take off. I'm not going to do that. But you will get this 1995 Apocalypse X-Men figure, brand new and sealed. So, guys, you're going to get all 3 of these prizes. Again, not just one. The winner will get all 3 of these. And so, the way that you enter this contest to win these prizes is to make a comment on this video. All I want you to do is comment hashtag EPIC500. EPIC500. No spaces, no anything. Hashtag EPIC500. And that will enter you into this contest. It must be commented on this video. All right, guys, you need to go into the comment section on this video and comment EPIC500, okay? I'm going to give you 1 week to do that from this video until next Sunday's video. Next Sunday, during my video, I will draw a winner for all 3 of these prizes. And then you can contact me. I'll put my my contact information in the video. And the winner can contact me, and I'll send the stuff out to you free of charge. The only thing that I ask is that you be a subscriber to the channel. You must be a subscriber. I will definitely check that. And that you be in the United States. The way that I ship things, I do a lot of shipping from my house here. And to print out labels on USPS.com and to ship from home, it's got to be within the U.S. So if you're not in the U.S., I apologize. This time, you're not going to be able to enter. But so you must be subscribed and you must be in the U.S. And that's it. Epic #Epic500 will enter you for all 3 of these prizes, guys. Go make sure you comment. And good luck to everybody. Guys, thank you again so much for everything. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I'll talk to you later.